talked with Greg and Dave on a couple of occasions, looking at, specifically at tax increment District 5. We've been needing to feed it with general tax dollars since it's not producing the increment it needs to pay all its own. Looked at a number of options with different bond issues or debt issues in the district. Are there ways to restructure it and ease some of the burden? There were a couple that came up as possibilities. Doesn't mean that they're good or recommended or anything, but they're possible. Let me find that right there. I gave you the clean one right there. On pages 2 and 3, it's a similar piece. There's similar statements on both, so rather than repeating it. Portions of the 2005 note are paid through the district itself, the general portion, and also a portion that is covering sewer collection, sewer main expenses that are actually paid by the sewer utility with expectation that the district would reimburse the utility. That's why they're two different sections. They're set to be paid off in 2015, so there isn't a whole lot there other than potentially is there cash on hand to pay it off and save that last couple of years' interest. Certainly an option in both, either and or both of those cases. It's not big dollars, but is a possibility. Another option, if you skip to page 4, is on the general fund portion, although it's almost paid off in 2005, another possibility would be extended out. Instead of making large payments over the next 3 years, make smaller payments for the next, this is 20 years, 18 years. Easier to make the payments because they're smaller. Instead of 160,000, they're down to 30,000. But you're going to pay more in interest over the life of extending it like that. It'll cost another $56,000, $57,000 in interest additional. Maybe valid if there was a real money pension. Boy, we can't make the size of the payments. We recognize there's additional interest costs, but we can't make the size of the payments now. We need to do something to reduce them. It's an option. The other piece would be, I'll skip the other piece. But it is a different option. Instead of paying it off early, one will be extended out to reduce our immediate burdens. I talked with Greg and basically agreed to recommend, don't bother with either one of them, just play them out and pay it off over the next 3 years. Don't look to paying it off early unless Lisa says that there's extra money sitting there to do it. A different option, I guess I missed, was if refinancing it over a 3-year term. Is the local bank willing to give us a % better than what we're paying third version of paying more interest, yeah, money's tight, but it's doable. We're able to make our payments, we're not wondering how to afford it. It could be possible, this is a piece I skipped, it could be possible that if there were some other expense globally to the city, an additional reduction in shared revenues that we're trying to figure out where to save money, it remains an option. Hey, here's a place we can ease up some cash flow, but that's not the situation today. We don't need to react for a maybe cut in the future. The other part is, this isn't the only debt in the schedule, but seeing that in 3 years it's paid off, we've got that coming up in a couple of occasions, that 2 years from now, some bonds are being paid off, and we get some very significant breathing room, and 2 years after that, more paid off and additional breathing room. So if we can hang tough with some payments we've been making, it gets easier in 2 years and easier yet in another 2 years. So extending it out and paying an extra $57,000 in interest, we don't need to, and it's gonna get better even if it's tight right now. So I'd really recommend staying away from that, even if there was a shared revenues cut. Boy, it's a lot better to let the debt service just get paid off. Globally, comprehensively looking at the entire package of debt payments, the debt schedule within the city's budget, if we, I'm expecting as part of the budget process this year, Public Works and Water and Light in particular, but the other departments, a lot of support from Lisa and her staff to do a real overhaul of the capital improvements plan, including looking at where we are in a debt service schedule, so that if we take on a project and add on debt, it's fitting in with our existing piece instead of being immediately piled on. It fits in where we may be paying some off. But the point to that being, if we do more debt, it changes this breathing room, but it doesn't make it worse. The other piece with Greg's packet is page 5, and actually, more important than page 5 is the addition I gave you tonight, which is Greg's update to page 5. Came out this afternoon. We have a $500,000 state trust fund loan at 5.5%. This is money that we turned around and borrowed to the Eager Economy Building under a development agreement. Portions of that have been paid over the last 3 or 4 years, but there's still about $430-some thousand principal owed on it at 5.5%. The additional packet, or the new stuff this afternoon, is we could take out a new loan, can't refinance it because it's just the mechanism is through the state trust fund, but we can do a bond issue to pay off the loan and get a better interest rate, and that's real savings.
What is the, excuse me, what's the trust fund percentage right now?
5.5.
It's still 5.5.
Oh.
If we went back to it.
Oh boy, I don't know if I've got that number. It's, one, we can't go back.
We can't refinance this with them?
You can only refinance if you're doing a new state trust fund loan. So if you package it with, and package it with a larger state trust fund that allows us to refi. We actually last spring, we refinanced the state trust fund on the library because we did a state trust fund on the bridge.
Right, okay.
Not an option here.
Okay.
I don't recall the interest rate, it didn't come up.
It doesn't matter then
Greg.
if it's not an option.
It's gonna be either not an option outright, or it's gonna be a less advantageous option than what Greg presented in his spreadsheet here with a new issue. Over the next 17 years, or 15 years, whatever this is, it's about a $60,000 savings, just short of $60,000. I would very much recommend the resolution at the back of Greg's this afternoon packet, go to council next week, which basically calls for, let's do a bond sale. And then a month from now, have Greg or Dave come out with the results of the bond sale. And it gets it, not just in process, but in process quickly. If this is what we want to do, let's do it. And it can be as simple as that.
Does this resolution cover just the information on page 5 as revised by today's note? Or does it include paying off
Just the
as
state,
per page 2?
just page 5. Just the state trust fund line.
And is there any advantage in I suppose
It's gonna be,
the longer payout wouldn't offset?
you're
Okay.
also
Yep.
you're also gonna run into an issue that the 2005 notes that you're asking about are tax exempt.
Right.
Where
Just fine.
because this
Yep.
is passed on to a taxable entity, these are actually taxable bonds, so they're actually a higher interest rate than if the city was going about doing its own project. So it'd be difficult to put that much into it. If hypothetically, I think it's on the agenda later, if somewhere we were looking at $20,000 for a relatively small public project in TIF5, we could probably roll it into that, realize it's a little bit higher interest rate than if we did it on our own, but we're not gonna finance $20,000 on our own. So you could roll it in, but you're paying a higher interest rate, so it better be a small amount you're rolling in. The other piece is, although it's as simple as that, is some consideration to the Finance Committee, Redevelopment Authority, City Council, what to do with those savings. We looked at it because TIF5 is struggling, and where do we save money? Fact is, we have a development agreement for the Eager Economy building. If you look on page 5, existing debt service, the total number, 43,000, I think actually it might be 44,000, but our development agreement, if the increment on the building is short, the owners have to make up the difference. So we're still getting, as a city, we're still getting the full $44,000 that's needed to make our loan payments. To a certain extent, we don't, I hate to say it this way, but we don't need the money. We're able to make those payments. This section is not the portion of TIF5 that is being fed by general tax dollars. This portion is being covered. Couple of options. If those savings on the right, anywhere from $800 to $6,000, $7,000, depending on the year, those could be savings directly to the district. We're still getting the full amount we need, and we have lower payments, so the savings all come to the city or to the TID district. It could help the issue we were looking at, reduce the tax feeding of the general taxes. The other piece would be, although our development agreement says they pay any shortfall under the 44,000, recognize they've been having about a $12,000 shortfall every year in making the payment. We could renegotiate the development agreement, let them realize the savings, Still gonna be a shortfall under what the building's currently valued at, but they're not gonna have to be making up as much every year. Maybe it's $5,000 to $8,000, $6,000 to $9,000 instead of a $12,000 shortfall. I would recommend if we reopened or considered renegotiating the contract, we look at something in return, some sort of added security or collateralization that we don't have in it currently. It does have a personal guarantee, which is good, but are there other things we might want for security? So really all that's before you tonight is taking the step to refinance it. There's a benefit there that it's a shame not to take or take advantage of, but the question is then in the future what to do with it. Have it feed directly into the district. In a sense, it's a security in itself. If the Eager Economy building fails to make payments, well, we made up some difference. The other piece would be consider renegotiating the agreement and changing the terms. But that's beyond this action. This is just restructure. Clear as mud?
There is none.
Oh, no, that's good. And I need to keep going back to page 2.
That's fine.
You talked about renegotiating locally. We're at what, 3.75 off the top of my head? If we get a point off of that, is it worth what we'd have to pay to renegotiate the loan? Would we realize enough in savings to make it worthwhile for a point? You know, we're looking at 14,000 over 3 years.
The savings on doing it on an actual issue are not enough in order to justify the expense of the issue. If you can drive down the cost of the issue by negotiating it directly, probably not as big of a revenue savings, but drive down the cost more, there could be a savings. The max you're looking at here is around 14. This one is 14,000, so you may be able to save.
But that's looking at 2.5% or more.
Yeah. So something less than 14,000, maybe you're somewhere in the range of $5,000 to $8,000 over the next 3 years. It's worth looking into. And the worst it is it's a half hour with Chris or Steve.
I think it's well worth looking into. One of the other questions I had was, have we heard any more about mid-budget shared revenue cuts? Do we think
Just
that
whatever
is?
sky is falling, you wanna give credit to.
Okay.
I don't think we'll be hearing anything before June.
I don't think we'll be hearing anything before November, but, yeah, it's certainly gotten quiet. Are we anticipating 2013 shared revenue cuts?
I'm not anticipating additional cuts in the current biennium budget.
Okay.
That said, the state finances are not in good shape, but I don't expect them to change their ways.
I think that's fair.
And really, there's structural issues that both sides of the aisle have been kicking down the road for decades, and it continues to get worse. I don't see it suddenly gonna change next year. And the way to make a big fix is like, that are gonna be needed is big fixes such as share revenue for other, so. There'll be cuts coming, but I don't see it in this plan.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I would make the motion to recommend common council,
Resolution
pass,
2012.
I would second that.
And you'll roll on it.
Culbertson.
Aye.
Broder.
Aye.
Brooks.
Aye.
What's your idea for pursuing, once waiting until we hear from Ellers and then putting on the agenda again, this idea of maybe reopening the agreement with Eager Economy?
I don't particularly have an idea to it. My thoughts, probably would have been to wait until after May, June bond sale completed,
Yeah.
first, and probably stay with that. There's no harm to sitting down and talking.
I think
don't know if
I
we need
would
to
rather
call
have a
it.
discussion here before we have that discussion,
Yes,
because
so
that's not clear in my mind at all.
get the bond sale made.
Yeah,
Bring
yeah.
that discussion here in June.
Yeah, bring it here first. I'm not sure. You know, the taxpayers are kicking in here, and I really need to have that clear in my mind. before
Well, but we both heard at Ellers the advantages to
Yeah,
making sure your security is what you want it to be.
yeah, we just need to have that really clear.
So there's room for discussion all